And lovely to have you on the show. Thank you very much for your time. Let's start off there. You know, China becoming the largest car exporter in the world, overtaking Japan, largely led by their EV rollout and the kind of dominance that they're gaining in that segment. How do you feel about that as an opportunity?
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, it shows, you know, China has a 25 million car market a year, largest auto market in the world. And over the last few years, they've really proven out the supply chain there, especially for EV and all the technology. And with 25 million cars, which will go 100% EV, I think over the next 10 years, you have a scale platform where they can bring great technology, but have all these cars being made at a very reasonable cost. So the cost per unit is very competitive globally. And so now you have China overtaking Japan for exports. And I think this globalization of the China EV market is something that everyone should watch. These are automakers with excellent technology, priced very well, with the best supply chain in the world, and now globalizing.
And so do you think that others can catch up or not quite? Because the U.S. would not take this lying down.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, I think, you know, I think the global automakers are concerned and you know, probably very surprised how fast China has moved forward in the EV space. I also think you'll see, you know, China starting to also move production globally too, and supply chain as they start targeting different markets. So it's going to get very competitive. But again, China has the largest auto market, you know, inside their country to grow into and keep developing the technology. They have leadership in battery now, and I think you know, they're going to continue to be one of the dominant players there.
Are you not concerned though, because it's often an incredibly political thing when we're talking about car manufacturing? We've seen, you know, what the EU is suggesting in terms of China exports into there for their automobiles. Obviously, the US wants to protect its automakers, the EU wants to protect its automakers. You even mentioned batteries, and I can foresee a situation where that's probably going to start happening more and more as well. And not to denigrate the China automakers, but just that it'll get a lot more protectionist before it gets before they're allowed to operate on a global scale.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, look, I think China, they have a large market just domestically to sell into. So, and that's going to keep growing as, you know, it's 25 million cars a year, which can go, majority of that to, you know, be EV. So that's a great growth opportunity in itself. I think there'll be country by country opportunities for China to expand globally, where, you know, let's take, for instance, the Middle East. I think that will be a strategic place for China to grow into. South America. I think Europe, obviously, with some of their larger companies, more challenging. And then there's the United States. So I think China will find global opportunities, but have a great base within its own country to keep growing.